Hello and welcome to the Paper Shredder, where no book escapes the cleaving blades of scrutiny. Today's Shredder fodder is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. There's always at least one aspect of any work of fiction that just cannot be tolerated. Whether it's a character or a scene or a line of dialogue, there's always something that just doesn't mesh well. In the case of City of Bones, it is most definitely a character. I won't say who it is yet, so just keep listening and see if you can figure out on your own. City of Bones follows the adventures of 15-year-old Clarissa Frey, or Clary for short. She discovers that she is able to see things that no one else can, as proven when she witnesses a demon being killed by a trio of invisible teenagers. She later learns that the teens are members of a demon-killing race known as Shadowhunters. She finds herself in their care when a demon assaults her and her mother is abducted. In the company of her newfound Shadowhunter companion, she embarks on a quest to find her mother and unravel the mysteries of her past. Or something along those lines. It's a bit easy to lose sight of what the end goal is at times. The driving focus of the plot shifts from Clary's mother to a magic seal placed on Clary's mind, to the resurgence of an evil shadow hunter named Valentine and his bid to exterminate half-demon folk known as Downworlders, with whom the Shadowhunters have a peace treaty. The plot has more twists and turns than a sidewinder doing yoga, so it does a very good job of compelling you forward, if for no other reason than to figure out what the hell is going on. But of course, no story is complete without its characters, and City of Bones certainly delivers. That is, it delivers a cast as unremarkable as the plumage of the female mallard. The characters all fit neatly into tired old archetypes. There's a kindly advisor character, an attractive, sexually domineering girl with a whip, a nerdy comic relief character who provides neither comedy nor relief. And then there's the super sexy love interest, Jace. He gets a special mention because he comes bundled with one of the most obnoxious personalities in the history of fiction. Haughtier than John Romero and a jackass comparable to Eric Cartman, he is utterly unlikable and deserving of more than a few shovels to the skull. His arrogance is highlighted in one scene where he winks at a pair of girls ogling him and comments about how attractive he is. Reading it is about as painful as a urinary tract infection. And speaking of attractiveness, this book seems intent on selling him as some sort of sex symbol. Bad boy attitude? Check. Tragic backstory designed to make you feel sorry for him? Check. Kicks massive amounts of ass? Check. Beautiful and enchanting appearance? Double fucking check. In fact, you'll already know he's the designated fangirl crush even before reading the book, thanks to the summary on the back describing him as gorgeous and golden-haired. Well, I think that the gorgeous golden-haired Jace can fuck off for such blatant, unimaginative pandering. Another thing about the characters is their dialogue. It seems prior to the events of the novel, they all signed a contract commanding them to be as witty as possible. Apparently wit was a gigantic magical submarine sandwich that they all took a bite out of. Given all the jokes they crack, you'd be forgiven for thinking that you stumbled onto an audition for Last Comic Standing. It's one thing to have a snarky character, but when you have three dedicated snarky characters, including the gorgeous golden-haired Jace, the snark just reaches ridiculous levels. And they do this all the time, even when preparing to rescue the comic relief character from a den of vampires. It's just plain annoying, and if there were ever such a thing as snark overload, this would probably be it. Another strange aspect of the dialogue is that it carries over into the action scenes. The author seemed to be aiming for a more cinematic feel with the dialogue, and in order to achieve that, one-liners and corny battle dialogue were apparently needed in their mind. There's one scene late in the book where the crew comes across a very powerful demon, and when it blows its hot breath in their faces, the gorgeous golden-haired Jace comments on the smell and remarks, "You're sure you're not from Staten Island?" Really, you do need to read the book and see just how bad it is. There's also another moment inside the aforementioned den of vampires where gorgeous golden-haired Jace flings a knife at one. After the vampire declares that the gorgeous golden-haired Jace failed to strike his heart, the gorgeous golden-haired Jace replies, "You moved at the last minute. That was very inconsiderate." But for all the bitching and moaning I've been doing toward this book so far, I can say that it is an admittedly entertaining read. The plot threw me a few curveballs, and the prose strikes a nice balance between description and brevity, even if it sports a light shade of purple at times. The characters, despite being cliched and having some bad dialogue, are developed enough to warrant emotional attachment to. The scene where Clary encounters the demon is written with such beautiful suspense that I was on the edge of my seat. In fact, it reminded me of the first two Alien movies, which I adore so very much. So all in all, it's quite good. Just be aware that if you decide to read it, you may find yourself with a gripping desire to play soccer with the heads of blonde pretty boys. And thus, this book was shredded. Tune in next time for my review of The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner by Stephanie Meyer.